This conference will now be recorded.
COVID-related.
The Tides Grove Town Board will hold a public meeting beginning at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, November 6, 2024 at the Town Hall at 4058 County Road N in Tides Grove. You can also join the meeting by GoToMeeting. We have a quorum present. Meeting was posted at the Town Hall and on the website. I'll call the meeting to order and we'll stand for the flag pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Minutes from previous meetings.
You want to take them separately?
Yeah,
I'll move approval of the town board meeting of October 21st.
Second,
motion by Williams, second by Duplay to approve the town board minutes for October 21st as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Then I would move approval of the town board budget workshop minutes of October 29th with one correction. Page 2, item D, use of surplus funds, third line at the end, gotten quotes from 3 companies.
It was in D.
D, use of surplus funds, first bullet point, third line at the end.
Should be 3 instead of 2.
Correct.
second with that correction.
Motion by Williams, second by Duplay to approve the minutes for the town budget workshop on October 9th with one correction on page 2 under D. First bullet point, third line, changing quotes from 2 to 3.
29th. You said the 9th.
29.
Sorry.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
You want these to remain closed?
Probably until we take it.
Sometimes you have until the budget is adopted.
Yeah,
All right, I move approval of the town board closed session meeting minutes for October 29th and that they remain closed
Second.
until the budget's
until the
adopted.
budget's adopted.
Motion by Duplay, second by Williams to approve the closed session minutes for October 29th, to keep them closed until the budget is adopted. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item is finance report and approval of bills.
I do.
I'll move approval of checks 37,451 to 37,483 to be paid. We make EFT payments of $25,746.59, and check number 37,415 is voided.
There's a motion by Duplay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Anders to approve checks 37,451 through 37,483 with the EFT payment of $25,746.59, and check 37,471 is void. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. You also have in your packet the credit card charges, the unaudited cash and investment balance of $2,248,820.54, and you have the October per diems.
Tim, did I screw up and I see there's only 4 for me for last month?
In the folder. I don't know.
Should have been 2 town plan
Budget.
and budget.
Okay, we can fix that yet.
Okay, I mean, how do you wanna,
Change 5 to 5.
Make the motion to amend the report from 3 to 4 then.
okay. Actually, from 4 to 5, counting the plan commission.
Well, yeah,
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
planning commission's separate.
Okay, change it to, I'll move approval of the per diems with the addition of changing the total number of meetings attended at the $50 rate to 4 from 3 on my particular case.
Second.
Motion by Anders, second by Duplay to approve the per diems for October as amended with Anders' town board rate for per diems going from 3 to 4. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. And the last sheet you have is the October court docket report.
Busy.
Well,
Yeah,
there's 2 months on that report too, because
Oh,
yeah,
the last, there's been,
September and October
September
we're
was
on
a-
it.
yeah, was later, October was earlier or
But
something.
it seems like the amount that's due us is still going up
Yeah,
quite a bit.
yeah.
Anything else?
I did pay that, with Chris's okay, I did pay the credit card as soon as the statement came out, because we have a $5,000 limit between Dan and I, and he bought that bubbler in my QuickBooks annual we hit. We couldn't hardly buy a pack of gum if we wanted to. So we paid that right away when the statement came out.
We maxed her.
Huh?
So we maxed it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Nothing else. We'll move on to public concerns. Public's opportunity to speak to the town board about any subject that is not a specific agenda item. Nothing. Moving on then to Plan Commission recommendation, discuss and consider adoption of resolution 2024-6-11-6A, granting conditional approval of the preliminary plat for Kennedy Hills First Edition. And you have the minutes of the Plan Commission in your packet. And you had at your desk a note from Nick as to what he found on the question about water lines.
And you also had a suggestion from Mark for a more accurate change to the second whereas clause.
What did he want changed on the second whereas?
He says it would be more accurate to change it what he says there, and that you should have that in your package. Mark?
It was in my packet.
No. Don't
Here it
have
is.
that.
Here, I get it.
Oh,
You got it?
No, I mean, he can look at mine. That's
you
whereas
got it.
Kennedy Hills
I
first
got it.
I have it.
addition preliminary plat has been reviewed by the town engineer and town planner who have determined the developer's proposed preliminary plat meets the town's requirement for conditional preliminary plat approval.
I think the key is conditional. The key word there is conditional.
Any discussion,
Can we?
questions?
We read the conditions, I just want to make sure it has a statement in there about the groundwater, so I'm not sure exactly what the engineer said, but you've had reports on it that I'm assuming there was no problems and conditions or concerns, so I'm assuming that it's just a more report that came from Nick, or is there something that I'm missing, but I just thought I'd ask since I heard there's a reference to it, but it seems like he has to look into it, I'm pretty sure I know what he's gonna
Said
find.
that due to conditions and drought or
It changed.
excess precipitation that it can change.
Yep, typical Wisconsin, we're very blessed. I'm sorry, my name is Joe DeYoung, MSA Professional Services. Here, obviously working with the developer on this application. Just wanted to be here and available for questions, but when I heard you mention Nick and referred to that, I was assuming that we kind of found it. So I know we're responsible for the cost, but this is pretty much what I assumed, so.
There's, I think, some people online that had to ask about wells in the past, so I don't know if we should read this out loud. What, Nick? I'll read it.
Go ahead.
Want me to read it?
We'll have the clerk do that.
Nick says, we looked at several well construction records from the existing subdivisions. They were cased through clay, sand, and gravel and open to limestone and sandstone below with depths ranging from 140 to 200 feet. Static water levels vary on location but generally range from 15 to 75 feet below ground. The location of the water table can change over time with periods of drought or high precipitation, but the specific capacity of the wells should not change much unless they become clogged or plugged with iron precipitates or bacteria. Lack of production could also be a pump issue. A worn-out pump will obviously pump less. We would expect the wells for the new subdivision to be similar in construction to the existing wells, and the density of the lots appears to be similar to the lots just to the south. If the existing residences do not have issues with enough water at the current density of wells, then I don't see lack of water or substantial drawdown being an issue with adding 22 new residential wells in the sandstone/limestone aquifer.
Any questions?
Kim, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, did I hear you say 20 houses?
22.
22.
22 houses? What happens when phase 2 goes into effect and they add another 22 houses?
Yes,
Again, Joe DeYoung with MSA Professional Services, and just from a reference and knowing where Nick's coming from at least, the amount of wells and what the density and what's being proposed will not have any impact, no matter if they're all residential. This is, groundwater is being recharged to a certain degree. This isn't a drawdown. It's, the wells that we have in place for communities that are serving, Sun Prairie, what is it, 35,000 people, and the 7 wells that they have is still having minimal impact on it, let alone private wells like this. So it could be something where the wells are constructed, it might be modifications in the area, but very minor anticipation with something like this is what I would assume would come back. So even though you've reviewed it just for this phase, the next phase is going to be proposed consistent what's currently there. And I would be comfortable to tell you there's going to be no difference than what you have right here, at least my engineering position. So I understand that you only looked at it for this phase, but I would be very comfortable that the next phase would be the same thing.
did you
Thank
get
you.
all of that?
I did, thank you.
Anything else?
Lower my hand.
I'm assuming with this, with a anticipated approval, that we'd be going into the final plat, or is this where he can do the construction? I'm not sure exactly, but I think there's a final plat stage that we have to go through before or
Right.
after you do it. You know how you I'm sorry, I'm just jumping into this, but I didn't know if we'd start the stuff and then finish the final plat, or do you want the final plat done before you start?
The final plat with a developer's agreement before you start.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Any other questions? Any action that you wish to take?
I move we accept the plan commission's proposal.
With, you're gonna include Mark's recommended
For rec-
change.
Correct,
So you're moving to adopt this resolution.
correct. And including Mark Roffer's
Change to the
change
second
to the
whereas.
paragraph.
Motion by Duplay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Williams to approve resolution 2024-11-6A with the one change to the second whereas, adopting Mark Raffles' words that were printed out. Any discussion on that motion?
And the only word that was changed was adding conditional, right?
Right,
Thank
that's
you.
the key word there.
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you, Matt.
You. You're working on the developers agreement. Next item is presentation by Midwest Solar Power and solar panel proposals for the town hall and town garage.
Where do you want me to sit? Or stand?
Right there would be fine.
Well, first, I'm Barrett with Midwest Solar. Thank you for having me. So I have two things. One, after discussing with two different product companies about putting solar on the roof here, both installations are ballasted systems. Neither one believe that it would be a doable situation. So with that said, the only option for a roof mount then would be penetration, which you do not want. So that option is, I think, off the table. So today I ran some numbers just for you to think about. We can repropose, you can go back out to bid, whatever you want. And I'm happy to go through it, but your ground mount situation that you had discussed, I think, back out that way.
Yeah.
Both of those would be feasible options. The biggest cost in that would be the distance. So your wire run
Yeah.
and trenching. We would propose to do a regular trench. Of course, at a certain distance, you can look at directional boring. Might be kind of a similar cost-effective type situation. The downside is it is more expensive. It ends up being about $30,000 each system to put in those ground mounts.
30,000 total or 30,000 additional?
30 each
Okay.
system, town hall and the garage. Now, that's including all the electrical work that I had discussed, and that would be the same issue. It would be the same interconnection that we would propose. So for the town hall building, we would recommend changing out, well, regardless of whether you do solar, we recommend you change out that main panel. For the garage, it would just be a sub-panel addition, so not very costly there.
Mhm.
But that system, because it would be closer, it ends up being almost the same price as the town hall if you're to put both systems out way in the kind of that north section. And of course, depending on how close you can get, you can save, kind of shave down some of the wire costs. So there's some, situations there. We're happy to come back out and look at any of those sort of scenarios and rebid it and whatever. It's not I know it's not what you want to hear. It's not what we wanted to hear either, but it's just the reality. We're not going to tell you to do something on your roof that you shouldn't do.
So if you go on the roof mount and you have to penetrate it, what kind of warranty guarantee do we have about leakage?
That's a really good question. So typically, in our standard agreements is 5 years, which is our workmanship, but we stand behind anything we do for its lifetime. So whatever the product that we would use in this proposed situation, it uses a butyl. So it's kind of a, typically what you see in a lot of roof type situations that are penetrating TPO and things like that. It'd be a situation where our work is guaranteed for the first 5 years, and then after that, any issues, you still, work with us, and we look into any issues that might arise. And if we do find that it is from something we've done, we're going to work to make sure it's corrected. I will say that most likely we probably still would not even do it on the roof because you have a TPO roof and we really don't want to penetrate that. It's just, we would advise against it. Yeah, so I would push you to, if you seriously want to do it, look at the ground mount, figure out what is the most feasible option. There's a lot of solar modules out there that you can get right now that are 5 years old. So each year, the way it works, each year they come out with a new module and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They don't actually really get all that much better. They just get bigger. So there's stockpiles of modules from 5 years ago that are perfectly fine, but most residential installations have moved on past them. So you can pick them up at really low prices. So that's a strategy to bring costs down. Inverters, you could possibly get close to what the roof mount
How would
scenario is.
buying used equipment like that affect the
They're not used.
Okay.
They're just last year's or 2
They're-
years
yeah,
ago or
and so
3
they
years
would
ago
maintain-
models that they never sold.
They would maintain, they're almost all 25-year warranty panels. Anything that we would buy would maintain that 25-year warranty
From the date of installation.
from the date of purchase. Yeah. So there's a lot of options there, and we're happy to flesh that out for you. It's not, it's not an issue for us to spend time on it, even if it doesn't happen.
What is the size of the array that would be needed to do the town hall?
Good question. So there's a couple options, but what I was looking at would be about
20 panels.
would actually be on a ground mount, it would be less
Okay.
Really?
because so with this building,
They would be bigger.
you're east and west. So the ground mount we would set due south at 30-degree tilt.
Great.
So I actually calculated with similar size panels that I quoted, it would be 16 of those of basically a 430 watt panel is what I was kind of modeling off of. It's called Silfab. They're made in Canada and US. But that would be, we could do 4 across and 4 high, and they're about, say, 75 inches by 4, so it'd be 25 feet wide, basically, and then, I don't know, maybe about 10 feet in depth, and it would stand maybe 10 feet tall.
Given that, what about the green space between the parking lot of the fire station and the parking lot here, right out here? rather than going way to the north, this is kind of dead space. It's away from the soccer fields.
I
Very
guess,
close here,
Huh?
and it's very close to this building.
I guess my problem with that would be if in the future we had to build onto the fire station, it has to be on this north side.
Okay.
And then you would have to want to extend the parking lot for what your
Yeah, but how much?
building would take up, which would probably be a bay. It would get-
But how much? There's gotta be only 20 feet width of that grassy area between us
Do you
and
know,
them.
Dan, offhand what it might be
75 feet, 60 feet of grass
of grass?
Maybe 30 feet,
From-
but I mean, it's,
between our parking lots.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good, probably 60 feet,
60.
60 or 70.
I'm just throwing it out there as opposed
Maybe
to,
it'd be the best idea is to have these guys come back and give us a
Quote
quote.
us doing that.
And,
Versus
and,
over
and
that,
over
yeah.
there.
We could take
Yeah.
2 trees down right here and this hillside right here would be perfect. Just an idea.
Hey, we're happy to do whatever. We're 15 minutes from here, so it's easy for us to pop out. Whether you're here or not, we can look at details, whip that up, give a couple, toss it around. You can say, well, let's talk about this. That's perfectly fine. For us, it's we want to make sure that if you are serious about it, that you do the right and most, economically viable thing for you to do.
Have you guys done any parking lot structures yet where they do like over the parking stalls?
We don't personally do that. There are companies that do, but I can tell you that they're all really expensive usually. Yeah. I mean, that's a great idea, and it'd be nice if there are probably ways to do it, but you got to know someone to build the structure and
Yeah.
team it up. But
You watched people pulling out of here yesterday on election day, you wouldn't want any more things.
Well, if we had it on that lot, on that
Oh,
edge of that parking lot,
okay.
just over top of the
Oh,
first
sure.
stalls. I
Just
mean,
down here,
yeah.
Ah.
I guess, Kim, if you could find some time as to where the lot line is,
Isn't it the power pole?
I'm not sure. It's been 25 years since I saw that document.
I know there's less grass on our side than the fire station.
is the Access Dane up to
yeah,
date?
I was just gonna say.
Pardon?
Just look up Access Dane. I mean, that's usually pretty accurate.
I think it's only like a couple more widths, like 12 feet on our side, and then it's like 4 or 5 on the other side of it.
Because we wouldn't want to have it on,
Fire station property.
yeah. Because we have to deal with the village.
Yes.
So I think those 2 trees are right on the lot line.
Would there be some kind of fencing that you would put around it?
So typically we don't, but there are situations that people do put fences.
Well, I'm just worried that if we're having soccer practice down here, kids are gonna naturally be drawn to.
Right, yeah, so depending on where it ends up, that would be something you'd want to consider. I mean, we don't build fences.
Right.
We have in some situations installed sort of a backing on the panels to protect the wires from people getting into them.
Mhm.
So that's something that can be done. But yeah, if it is around a lot of kids, I would recommend you certainly have kind of
Fence it.
a gated in situation.
You Find it on Access Dane.
It's coming.
And then some other questions, I guess, that we never really touched on. Do you have sort of an ROI that you need to see or want to see on a system? Like kind of that point where you've recouped the amount of money saved in electricity.
Fire station parking lot,
Huh?
the fire station parking lot,
Yeah.
there's a lot line.
Yeah, it is. It's right on the fire
Probably.
station parking lot.
Do you have a timeline for that? Like do you want to see
Return
it?
on investment type thing?
Yeah, like how many years would
I
you
don't know.
hope for?
One or two would be fine with it.
Short attention spans here.
Okay, we'll go 5. I'm sorry.
Do you see it there?
It's right along the fire station parking lot. It's this yellow line
The
right
yellow
here,
line, yeah.
right along the
So
parking
we have a
lot.
lot of space
So
there.
basically all the grass is on this side.
Okay.
Wow.
So I guess we wouldn't want it to hang over that lot line.
Well, there is a setback. You're gonna have,
Yeah.
in Dane County, most solar is considered a secondary structure, so the lot line, the setbacks aren't as,
As far.
yeah.
It's probably
It'd
like
usually be a
10
lot.
It's probably like 10 feet
I
from the
think-
side yard.
I don't know about, I can tell you residential, it's less than that. It's like 3 feet, but
Oh.
I don't know on, next to a fire station, it probably has a different.
How far can it, or how close can it be to a building, like on this side?
I don't think there's really any regulation that I know of that would prevent it from being even touching a building per se. I mean, there's probably some regulatory aspect, but yeah, you could have it pretty close.
Because there is a nice slope on this side.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other side slopes the wrong way, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Right,
slopes to the north, and
right,
so your poles would have to be a little longer.
right.
So would you like him to come back with a quote for seeing if we could install it there, or what it would be is if we go over
Yes.
there
Yes,
for ground mount?
yes.
So you want to look, just south of your parking lot
Of our building.
or of the building?
Of-
Okay.
Yeah, the parking lot,
Both
blacktop.
Both places over here? The
places,
hill next to
Yeah.
the building and then the parking lot,
right,
grassy knoll.
yes.
So
Yeah,
Yeah, we
Grassy
get
knoll.
rid of the potty locusts here.
I-
They were-
I-
they were
I
trouble
thought I
yesterday.
didn't mention it, but it does make
Well, all
sense.
your
I mean,
leaves
it's
in
very convenient.
And you can bore that.
Hmm,
You can easily bore that.
Yes,
okay. Let's have you do that and send us that.
can you come for the next meeting?
When's the next meeting?
18th.
Of November?
Yeah,
Yes. It's a week and a half.
10 days, basically. Otherwise, it would be December,
First meeting in
1st,
December.
I think.
Is it the 2nd?
December
The
2nd.
Yes. Yes. Decent date.
And that we have our public hearing for the budget on the 2nd.
Mhm.
It might be a good time to have it then.
Oh, I'd like to get moving on this sooner than that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can shoot for the 18th.
Okay,
Great, thank you.
One last thing that I have no ability to predict the IRA, so the 30% tax credit.
Right.
Hopefully the new administration will be in support of continuing the US manufacturing aspect of what's going on. So hopefully they don't get rid of the IRA. Even if they dislike it, hopefully it's something that won't happen for at least a couple of years into the term. But that's just something to pay attention to because obviously it changes
yeah.
things at the 30%
Right.
away.
Are you able to provide us information as to what the utility company pays for what we don't use?
Yes, yep. I can tell you off, basically, and this is what I had done in the initial quote, is I actually looked at your energy curve
Yeah,
and I built it out so that you have the least amount of overage. And what that means is everything that you produce in each month more than what you use, the utility is going to credit you at around 4 cents a kilowatt hour. So it's about a third to a quarter of what you're paying.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of avoid that, keep that down, and that's why I proposed around 75-80%. It's kind of what that worked out to be.
okay,
And there is some leeway in there. You could go a little higher, a little lower. That's fine, depending on if something works in a budget and you say, well, let's just take it down a little bit, and it brings you to 70%. Well, that's just fine.
okay.
And then, so is there a pretty explicit interest in either U.S. or North American made
Yes.
panels?
Yeah. Second choice would be Europe, I guess.
Right.
I have no desire personally for things made collectively by Wang in China.
No,
No,
we don't either. I don't either.
So I'll likely propose, I'll look at a few different brands that are mostly US or some Canada made panels, and I'll kind of see what's out there in terms of pricing to make the project a little more affordable.
okay,
Then, the REC panels I proposed, we primarily install those residentially. I'm not going to propose those for this because they're really the most expensive, not the most expensive, but they have the best manufacturing of equipment. They add extra reinforcement. They're more square than pretty much any panel on the market. They have the lowest degradation. So there is value in them. However, for a project like this, I would probably go to something like Silfab or Qcell, which are still extremely well manufactured panels, just not to that caliber. They're still, 25, some actually Silfab's a 30-year warranty. They're companies that have been around, they're tried and true, and we do install them as well, but just so you understand
okay.
Okay.
choices there. Yeah,
All right, well, hope for the 18th.
yeah, great.
Motion to table till the 18th.
Second,
You're on item C, right?
Yes.
yes.
Motion to table the quotes for installing solar panels.
Yes.
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, well, thank you for having
Thank
me.
you.
You bet.
Okay. Looking forward to more information.
Yep, sorry I came with not great news, but we'll keep working on it.
Right.
All right, next item is discuss and consider replacement of the bridge on Natick Road. I contacted Jewel Engineering because Town and Country doesn't do bridges. Two gentlemen were out on Tuesday. I met with them at the site. They told me right away that it's going to be a bridge.
Not a goal. Is that because we're at 19 feet already? Is that why?
Well, I told them it was 6 to 20 foot
Yeah,
that we had there now.
I was thinking that too. They're probably gonna have to.
So they're gonna come on the 18th and talk to us what our options are for replacing it versus what's gonna, funding maybe. So isn't much more to tell you other than they're saying it's gonna be a bridge.
You wanna table this one too?
Yes.
We table this discussion till the 18th.
Second.
Motion by Duplass, second by Williams to table to the 18th, the replacement of the bridge on Natvig Road. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next is discuss to consider increasing Plan Commission and Emergency Government Committee per diems to $50 beginning in 2025.
Move approval.
Second.
Was that Williams?
Williams.
Second by Anders to approve the per diems at $50 starting in 2025 for the Plan Commission and an Emergency Government Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item is consider adoption of resolution 2024-11-06B, adopting certain fees
So these were the changes that you talked about at your budget meeting.
at budget. Yes. So we have the operator's license going to 30, the manager's license going to 30, change of land use going to 350, concept plan going to 350, plan commission special meeting going to 350, and construction of a vault or other structure had been set by the town board. We're changing that to the highway superintendent.
Did you mention the 1.5 million per mile of road for the variance bond for weight limits? On the bottom of page 2.
Just the 0.5 is underlined.
Down here, bond.
Oh, yeah,
Bond.
bond for variance to weight limits, increasing it from 1 million to 1.5 million per mile of road permitted.
What do you want for an effective date for this? Because the 350s are mainly because of the plan commission per diems going up in 2025. So do you want the effective date of this change to be
January
January
1st.
1.
1st?
I would think that's what they would
Yeah,
make the motion.
Because that isn't really in here, but we could add that this change is effective January 1st of 25.
Right.
It's okay for me.
Any discussion? Is there a motion?
I move to adopt resolution 2024-11-06B, adopting certain fees effective January 1, 2025.
second.
Motion by Williams, second by Duplass to adopt the changes to the Code of Ordinance in the Town of Cottage Grove Smart Growth Comprehensive Plan. Changes that were recommended become effective January 1 of 2025. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Looking for a motion to reconsider the 8/19/2024 vote, the motion to use unassigned funds for the purchase of the 2025 Western Star Patrol Truck Equipment Package.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Anders, second by Williams to reconsider. All those, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
So we talked at budget time that because this isn't gonna come due until next year, we probably should budget for it somehow. And the current way it's in the budget is to borrow for it. I think you could still, depending on what unassigned funds look like next year, you could decide to borrow or not at that point, or you could decide now not to borrow for it and, put unassigned funds in that budget, but we should do something other than what was done back in August, since it's not happening this year.
So the next item was discuss and consider the funding source for the 2025 Western Star Patrol Truck Equipment Package.
When is this gonna be delivered?
April, May, March, February, I don't know.
Not this year.
Not this year.
How busy Burke gets?
They've started working on it, but not really. It's not gonna be this year. I would anticipate probably March, April.
Can we kick it down the road and not?
Well, you're gonna put it in your budget somehow, so how do you wanna balance out that expense in your budget? Do you wanna put it in there as a borrowing revenue, or do you wanna actually plan to use unassigned funds next year for it? And you can probably change that when you get there.
Borrow it.
Borrow it. Yeah.
For how long of a period? 1 year, 2 years?
And I think you can decide that then too, and you might
Okay.
depend on what the interest looks like.
Exactly.
Okay,
But just to get that expense balanced out with some revenue or
Right.
fund balance or something. It's in there now as a borrow,
okay.
so you wanna leave it that way?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there a motion?
I move that we plan to borrow for the 2025 Western Star Patrol Truck Equipment Package.
In the 2025 budget.
Yes.
Second.
Motion by Williams, second by Duplay to borrow for the 2025 Western Star Patrol Truck Equipment Package. Will be delivered sometime next year. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item is to reconsider the 10/29/24 motion to use unassigned funds to replace the town garage furnace.
So this is because at that same meeting, you first voted to accept the quote and use unassigned funds, and then later in the meeting, you talked about using ARPA for it. So you have to undo the unassigned funds and decide if you're gonna use ARPA or not.
There's ARPA.
Yeah, I would,
So first you have to decide to reconsider that.
Reconsider.
I move to reconsider the 10/29/24 motion to use unassigned funds to replace the town garage.
second.
Motion by Williams, second by Duplay to reconsider the motion to use unassigned funds to replace the town garage furnace. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Then discuss and consider funding source to replace the town garage furnace.
So if you can take your memory back to last year about this time, we knew we were gonna have to use up all the ARPA. We had it designated for stuff. The last thing that we were waiting for was the outfitting of Squad 1. And some of the things, the radios that they bought at the fire station came in under budget. Then the outfitting, I just got the final bill this week, so that came in under budget too. But if you remember last year, there was looking at all those items that were budgeted, there was like $700 or $900 left, and we just said, we'll just put it towards the town hall roof. Well, we haven't really done that yet because we're waiting to see how much more there might be. So now that all the other ones are finalized, there's $4,409.76 left, which is just shy of the $4,800 that quote was. I just had it. So you could, 4859.10. So you can almost cover that with what's left of ARPA, and then the ARPA would be gone. So I don't know if you want to do that, and then
And use
then
the
just
balance
use-
from unassigned.
yeah. And then I think that one of these meetings coming up here, I need to bring forward to you guys a list of all the uses of the ARPA funds so that you can once and for all say that that's what you wanted them to be used for. Everything through last March was already reported, so you really
Yeah.
can't change that, but at least the last end of it, before I do the final report, it would be good to have an official motion that that's what you like. So anyway,
So moved
Motion by Duplay,
to use the $4,409
Yep.
and 76 cents,
440976.
4409.
76, and the remainder to come from unassigned funds.
Motion by Duplay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Anders to use $4,409.76
76.
from ARPA, with the balance coming from unassigned funds to replace the town garage furnace. Discussion on that motion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item, discuss and consider quote to replace the roof at 4091 County Inn in 2025. Are they going to,
I talked to him, he called me back finally today. They're gonna stand behind their quote, which they gave us.
5?
Yep. So we just have to sign the paper this year and then nothing will be billed until next year.
And we did have this in the budget. We just weren't sure that they were gonna honor this quote
Right.
still.
Yeah, he said he's willing to, but if we're not gonna decide to do it and we gotta wait till January or whatever, he said he can't guarantee because he doesn't know what price they're gonna have, what's gonna happen to prices in January. But he can still guarantee it this year, and he's like, we can buy the materials now and have them for your roof.
Whenever they can do it, depending on the weather.
Yep, and then they'll get to it probably in the spring whenever it's nice enough.
Okay. What do you think?
I think that sounds like a good idea.
Is that a motion?
Yes, it is.
Motion by Duplay,
Second.
second by Williams, to have Great Lakes Roofing replace the roof at 4091 County Inn for $39,500 in 2025. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next is discuss and consider a quote to, it's not to replace, it's
Yeah,
to
I thought it
fix
was
the furnace at 4091. You have a quote from High Tech, and Dan took a couple pictures of what's happened to that thing. Apparently, there's been a leak in
What,
the
exhaust? Yeah, it looks like the exhaust pipe.
and the quote from High Tech would fix that.
Looks pretty bad.
Yeah,
It hasn't done much, we pulled the panel, it hasn't done much internal. It's all just on the outside of
yeah.
the panels, but
If we don't do something,
it's gonna get there.
yeah.
Oh, we need to repair it. I'll move that we accept High Tech's.
Which one do you,
Oh,
I'm thinking option 1.
sure.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Option 1.
Option
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
yes.
Motion by Williams, second
Second by
by
me.
Duplay to approve High Tech's option 1 for 1861 .89, money coming from
Undesignated funds.
unassigned. Okay, undesignated. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Public Works Department, report of road right-of-way permits issued and activity.
We've had about 2 or 3, but none of them have been finalized yet with payments, so we're gonna hold off on those. On the furnace thing down at the old garage, I'd mentioned the dehumidifier.
Yeah.
Houston's run one nonstop,
Oh,
just at the top of the stairs there. So the guy's like, we have a hose going right to the drain. And he's like, that's pulling moisture out of the air all the time. So
okay.
that should help what's going on downstairs, but.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I listed the broom and the old truck on Wisconsin surplus since the last meeting, so they're going good. I think the truck's up to 10,000 now. I had just looked at it.
Any bids on the broom?
Yeah, we're up to $691.
Oh,
Ooh,
I know.
last time we couldn't get any.
Nobody bid on it last
Yeah.
time. Went 0. So,
Bobcat mounted broom?
no, 3-point tractor.
Oh,
That's why I think it's having a tough time going. If it was a skid steer, it'd be sold already.
that's kind of, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a dinosaur piece of equipment, but the other guys have been mowing, final mowing. I got Dan in the tractor for the first time, I think last week, and he's been doing it a little bit this week already too. So that's kind of his last thing to learn here. I think that's the only thing he hasn't ran here. Another thing too, I just got thinking about this during the solar panel guys talk. Remember when we were talking about parks and pavilions? Remember Deerfield put that pavilion in with the solar paneled roof?
Yeah.
It's another idea.
I don't think I have the money to build
No.
it.
Yeah, I don't know what the frame of the pavilion costs, but yeah.
What were we looking at, like 100,000 last year?
Was
We were
it?
talking about that.
Is that what it was?
So, yeah,
Yeah, that just popped in my head for some reason.
good idea though.
It is pretty.
Costs too much.
Other than that, we've been starting our fall maintenance, so all the trucks got their oil changed and all the PMs have been done and all that. Justin's truck, you probably saw in the bills, we found cracked leaf spring on each corner of the truck, so unfortunately.
When's your last day for leaves and
November 10th, that's Sunday.
Sunday?
Sunday. Unfortunately, we just gotta start putting snow equipment on, so we'll be done hauling on the trucks.
You report on your leg?
It's going good. I'm out of my boot.
I see that.
Yeah, it's going good. I feel really good. I'm still slow walking because I don't have a lot of strength in my calf muscle yet, but it's getting there.
Okay.
Feels normal again, even though I walk really slow.
And
welcome to the club.
Yeah.
is your bottle filler installed and working?
Yeah, yep. All in and working. I've used it probably 10 times already.
Okay,
I actually probably use it the most out of everybody, but
okay.
yeah, it's going good.
All right, moving on. Clerk Treasurer Office update.
Well, we had an election yesterday.
You did?
How'd that go?
It went really well. If I'd have known it was gonna go that well, I might have been able to sleep the night before. But no, it went very well. We had 1,569 absentee ballots to get through. We got through them by 4:30.
How many people actually voted?
The 1,007 or, yeah, something like that.
No.
Yeah. No, maybe 17, I don't know.
No, the total number.
The total number was 2,546, I think.
And
No, it was over
1,500.
26.
Or 2,645 then, maybe.
It was, yeah, because I left at 2627.
Okay, yeah,
And 1,500 voted early?
yeah. Yeah, last week was just nuts. I mean, it
Yeah.
was 100 people every day, and Thursday and Friday were well over, I think we had 200 on Friday.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. Friday morning, there was a line out the door when I opened the door. I am positive that, well, yesterday, people were walking right in. I mean, we shut down all but one Badger book for a good part of the day to use them for the absentees, and people were still just walking right in, but they waited a lot longer to vote early.
Yeah.
And they could have come and voted without any line between 7 and 8.
At night, yeah, at night, I sent people home early because there was just nothing going on here from about 6:30 to 8.
Wow.
Yeah,
Who did you get meals from?
I don't do that anymore.
Oh,
I,
you break it up
I
so.
run them in 3 shifts, and I did have quite a few of them work more than one shift. I gave them a break and they just had to bring a lunch or something, or a snack, but it just doesn't work to try to feed them anymore.
Yeah.
So I break it into smaller shifts so they're fresher. And it's challenging because it's hard to find a time to shift shifts that isn't the busiest time. It just always seems to go that way. But it wasn't terrible this time, and we're getting it figured out. And as long as they don't all come out here and crowd, we have them come in the office and we slide them in one by one, and it
I
works.
came in at 10 o'clock and it was like in and out in 5 minutes.
Yeah, there was a line when we opened up in the morning. It was all the way over to the garage.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody was in line a half an hour. It moved through pretty fast then too, so. And that was the only time that they were lined up out the door. Otherwise,
Well,
they were in the house the whole
congratulations.
time, so.
Yeah.
We only had to ask one person to move
Did ya?
because they purchased for the garage door, but.
But I don't know, we had a few extra people that were new, and a couple that acted as greeters and did a great job. And the people that helped with absentees did a great job, and the whole thing worked really well, I thought, so. Yeah,
Thank you and your staff for doing a great job.
Yeah,
Right,
thank you
yeah.
very much.
Very well
Make sure you put that in
organized.
the minutes.
We
Yes.
agreed on that.
And then the other news I have is that it sounds like the judge has convinced Danielle to stay.
What?
So we're holding off on any interviews or anything, and I think she's gonna stay. So, yeah. So that means I need to make an adjustment to the budget though before I post it, because we don't have her wages in the budget, that we have a starting wage. So
Yeah, you have clears in with
I'll
the
just,
4%.
I'll just bump her up like she never said she was leaving, and then I'll just pull that out of that 100,000 or whatever that we
Yeah.
allocated to highway. See, we told you you couldn't keep it.
Right.
You weren't planning on it
Easy
anyway,
come,
right?
easy go.
So that's the only adjustment I know of right now that I have to make to the budget before I post it, because I have to post it for the public hearing.
Right.
Nobody knows of anything else, right?
No?
Okay,
No.
all right, then I think that's all I have.
Good job.
Okay. Board reports and communications. Got a letter from Dane County Waste and Renewables. They formally rescinded their feasibility report addendum 1 dated August 23rd regarding the proposed Dane County landfill site number 3.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Additional information will be provided to supplement the feasibility report, and it will be resubmitted at a later date.
The landfill won't work across the street anymore like we thought. Just
Oh,
kidding.
I'm sure they'll find a way.
By hook or by
Wow.
crook.
Yeah. Otherwise, everyone saw that Jerry Durr passed away.
And that was a shame.
Yeah. So on 11/18, when I have Jewel here, we should probably also talk about that big road if we're gonna do anything with that. Last week I stopped at the village and advised them what was going to happen, so that if they have Hydrite, that uses it in their chocolate place. I talked to Landmark's logistics manager. Of course, he didn't know anything about it. And all he could say is, oh. Houston's, on the other hand, they don't want any weight limits anywhere because they want to be able to run their trucks from their shop here going south.
Well, we'll let them if they rebuild that big road from start to finish.
Well,
Heck, yeah. That's how you get it done.
I had a suggestion from someone that you should do it like they do out west when they put up stoplights at the end of the road when they do construction, and let them go through one way and then stop them and just run it like that and not do anything.
I did talk to the county and ask them if they could replace the bridge, leaving one lane open with lights. I got a quick no from them on that, but that might be what we would have to do is put,
Just make it a
Lights.
one-way road and just I mean, we've run into that out west all over the place where
Really?
it's an unattended system and it just timed and, one way goes for a while and then the.
Just like Vilas was.
Yeah, for a while, yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
during the village's
That's probably a
construction.
lot cheaper than a bridge.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot cheaper. You start talking bridge, that's a lot of money.
Jewel called those cement abutments widowmakers,
Yeah,
which,
yeah, there's no crash protection there at all.
no,
That's a probably what, 60s install? Probably, maybe,
I couldn't see a date anywhere on it.
I couldn't either,
There
but
was a name as to who built it. But I didn't recognize the name either.
they don't do parapins like that anymore.
So I did talk to Dave Peterson to have him see if he could find out from the county if they would help us with the roadway. I'm not hoping that they'll do anything, but figure we could ask.
That phone call said not to depend on him, so.
I bet that road doesn't get 40 cars a day on it.
No, but those 3 months, it'll get beat to hell if we leave semis on it.
Yep, it'll be gone. There's no base under that road.
Oh,
No,
crap.
No. One semi truck's like 100 cars, so
Ouch.
equate that.
and I think Houston's quads empty are 28 or 30,000, aren't they?
Yeah, 20 something, yeah.
Wow.
Full though, they're 80.
Yeah.
Yeah, just under 80,000. And I don't know, can that Jewel looked at that box culvert, would it handle an 80,000 pound truck? That's the other thing, we should probably have inspected before we put a semi across it. Just see what the weight bearing limit would be,
Yeah,
cause like,
well, it'll get inspected next year, won't it?
yeah,
By the county.
yeah, but remember, Femrite, we had to close that down to, 10 ton before the construction got done, cause they said you couldn't take a dump truck across anymore.
Right.
Or 15 tons, I think it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's gonna come,
Fix your problem.
It might,
it's gonna be a,
cause there's some good sign
So,
cracking already on
We'll
it.
have a
so-
discussion, I guess. And then on the 18th, we'll also have a discussion on, I asked Bill Cole to come on North Star there by, is it Benefits?
Okay.
And that red line boat.
Yeah, where we want that road to go through, how that has to go to put that road in.
So you're still thinking about going through Benevitz's?
It'd be red lines, not Banovitz's.
Oh,
Well,
right.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's before Banovitz's property, just before.
So it's gonna be
because I think when we had that thing drawn up, it was only for 66 feet, and we probably need to go to 70. But we'll have a discussion.
Make them dedicate half and half. Put it right on the property lines.
We'll have to see. And I think that's all that I have. Committee reports, Deer Grove EMS.
They have a hiring date for hiring additional staff to fulfill 24/7 at both stations beginning next year.
Eric is online too.
Okay, Eric, Do you have an addition?
I was trying to think if we had a meeting between the last time.
Hello?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, we have a date. Deadline is next week, Friday, with interview sessions on the 20th. Looking to hire 2 positions. We've updated our website, so if you go to deergroveems.com, you'll see that it looks very new and improved. That's kind of about it for us. Operations as usual. We've had I think since the last couple months, an uptick in calls, and we'll be consistently in the 120s to somewhere between 120 and 140 for calls for service for the month, which is a pretty big number compared to where we were through the middle of the year.
That's it.
Okay, that's it.
Will we adjourn?
Second.
Motion by Duplace, second by Williams. It's non-debatable. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.